Hi. Been a while. I'm sorry. I don't really have an explanation. Well, that damn PowerPoint I had to do really got in the way of many things. Fuck you, James Cameron. He ruins. Anyway, day. I don't even know. I don't even know what number we're at. I think I got to like 15. I was like, so yeah. But I'm gonna try my damnedest because I've realized we have not even 2 months left of this year. And I have 26 books I must read to get to 75 books read this year, which is my goal on Goodreads. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. But there's still other challenges I would like to, keep going with, which I'll get into. But let's sort of recap what I've read since you last saw me, which hasn't been many. So, the last thing I read was Desert Solitaire, and you know how I feel about that. But then after that, I started reading The Second Mrs. Astor by Shana. This was trash. This was truly trash. Truly. So, this, as the title states, she is the second wife of John Jacob Astor IV, who was the richest man in the world and was the richest man on the Titanic when it sank. Rest in peace. And this is the story of his, second wife, who was 17. And does anyone want to guess how old he was? Correct. Too old. 40 something, like 44. Yipes. And so it tells a story of them meeting, and then the drama of that, because back in 1912 or whatever, it was kind of weird to get divorced, and then it's a scandal to get with someone who is a minor. Even back then they were like, but still, who really gave a fuck? It was mostly because he was divorced that people had a problem, which doesn't make sense to me, but I digress. And then it tells the story of them going on the Titanic and it sinking. This was deeply uninteresting. I mean, the only reason I picked it up is because it's about the Titanic, and I suppose, maybe learning more about John Jacob Astor. But there was none of that. This woman is not interesting enough to have a book made about her. And especially, because, when these two were getting together, a lot of the criticism was going towards her. And you would think your 2021, I think this was written, your 2021 head ass would maybe write a critique about that. Write a critique about how this old man who has a child that's basically her age, if not older, like what critique that, like what does that say about our society? What did that say about the world at the time? And not make it out to be something romantic, because it isn't. It's creepy. Maybe they were happy, but what does that say about the world that this happened, that these two people got together? What does that say about him as a person of power to get with this minor? You can talk about that because your 2021 head ass, this is a fictional account of this person. You could do truly whatever you want. Not to change the facts, but to, write a critique. Completely capable of doing that without really changing what has happened. But, Shana did not have that in mind. She just wrote the story as it was. And there it went. The Titanic part wasn't even that interesting. I was really just like swiping through. I was like just, scanning the pages. I'm like, I'm getting the big picture here. Really unenjoyable. Truly, truly an unenjoyable read. And honestly, this is probably what set me back, including this PowerPoint. This was just a rough read. Yeah, no, don't read this. This is getting booted out of my collection real quick. So I gave this like half a star because it is not deserving of any more. I'd give it 0 if I could. So after that, I read Desert Cabal, like a new season in the wilderness is the subtitle, by Amy Irvine. This was like a small, like 98-page novella. Which me going into it, I read an article with her, and what it made it seem was like this novella was a critique on this, essay was a critique on Edward Abbey. But when I read the book, the essay, that is not what I got from it, literally at all. She seemed to be kind of like chill with the guy. I mean, she had a couple things to say about, his, I don't even know, like calling it, Abbey country. She said something about that, but then she was like, I understand your need to be alone, and she was kind of, even though he's dead, she was at his grave writing this, which is, but she was giving this guy too many props, which I completely disagree with. Watch my last video if you want to know my opinions on this man. But she was too chill with him, because if that were me, I need to write my critique and publish this shit, because I certainly have something to fucking say about that, because I'd go in on this man, and she didn't. He is deserving of it, though. I really got nothing out of that. It was a 98-page waste of my fucking time. And yeah, that wasn't worth my time. Sorry, Amy. And then I started it yesterday, I finished it today, 160-page novel that is illustrated called Arsène Lupin, The Gentleman Thief by Maurice Leblanc. This was my wheel pick from 1907. This is I don't have it with me, I'm sorry, I can't hold it up. It was very beautiful. I got it from the library. But the art was very beautiful. It was by Vincent Mallié, I think is his name. But his art was truly beautiful. It was so whimsical because it's about this man by the name of Arsène Lupin, and he is this quirky lad who is a thief, but he's a gentleman about it. He's just a very quirky guy who steals things, and he's like the how it goes. And it was just very quirky, and the art added to the quirkiness of it, because you just see him standing there with his like top hat, and it's very adorable. And I got a lot of enjoyment out of that, because it's inspired by Sherlock Holmes, if you know, you know. um and I'm sure this like book has, I mean, this 1907 inspired the like gentleman thief sort of persona. Speaking of persona, there is a character named Arsène, or his name could be Lupin, one of those, but is in Persona 5, I learned, and has that sort of gentleman thief persona. um it was just very quirky. Reading it, I was thinking like the entire time, like looking at the art, I was like, this would be a perfect Studio Ghibli movie. But they actually did make a Studio Ghibli movie inspired by it. It's a different, era, which I'm sad about, because this is like early 1900s, in France. Um, oh yeah, the first story is they're on a transatlantic. um, they're on a transatlantic ocean liner, which I was a big fan of. Because you know. But yeah, it was very quirky, very enjoyable. I would say that the like first couple chapters or first couple like short stories were stronger. Because once you learn more about the character, I would say the last couple ones were a bit weaker, but I still enjoyed them. This book was really hard to read because it was fucking huge. Well, it was, it wasn't like thick, just like height. So it's hard to hurt. It kind of hurt my hands. I started like cramping. I was like, but an enjoyable read nonetheless. I don't know if I'm gonna read more of those like short stories, but I'm glad to have read them. 1907. I mean, those guys were funny back in the day. We were funny guys back then. Yeah, I read those. I guess I should talk about what I'm currently reading. I'm reading The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. This is the this was just in here. It's just a piece of paper that I just left in there. That attacked me. This is the first in the First Law trilogy. She's a behemoth. And I have been, clunking through this for, I don't know, like a month now. I'm only like 200, a little bit more than 200 pages in it. And this is like a fucking 500-page book, about. So, I'm slowly but surely getting through it. It's hard to sort of describe this book, but it's about, there's a lot of tropes going on. So we follow different perspectives. We have the northern warrior who, we're sort of at the end of his journey, it seems, because he's like, I don't really want to make decisions for myself anymore, so I'm just gonna follow these fucking guys. We have this, captain who's very pretentious, and he is learning how to fence to do this, fencing competition. And he's complaining so much, like he doesn't want to fucking do it. But if you do this competition and you win, you get a lot of prestige from it. So he sucks it up, and that's what he's dealing with currently. Low stakes for this man. And then we follow this tortured man turned torturer, crippled man who is, got tortured in wartime, is now working with sort of the government to torture people to get information out of them. So we also follow a Gandalf-like character. He's like a magician. And him and the Northern men are sort of faffing about. So we follow these perspectives, and underneath it all, there's this king in the north, that's getting an army, and they want to take over the south. Game of Thrones. And there's a couple other things like that, there's this like, the guy with the government. They're trying to, insert themselves more into the, what's the word? Like people in power, so that, they call the shots, instead of like other fucking guys. So they're doing a lot of background things. They're torturing people. They're putting these people, to trial. There's a lot of drama going on, and our fucking captain guy is just like this woman. this fucking this fucking woman fucking is like calls me an embarrassment. And out of spite, I'm gonna fucking continue fencing even though I fucking hate it. And this woman is, she's a bitch, but she's kind of hot. Again, low stakes for this man. But he's my favorite. I don't know what that says about me, but he's so funny. He's so funny being in his head, and he hates women who are who you know who are beautiful, I suppose. But it's enjoyable. It's just a lot. There's a lot, and there's a lot of fucking names, and usually I don't have a problem with that, but oh my god, because I keep like taking too long of breaks, so I'm like losing who these people are. But I'll get through it, slowly but surely. I'll get through it. Um, we'll see when that happens. I think this is one of these books that I'm just gonna read at home, because I have the second book like on hold at the library, but the physical copies are not like available. I don't know. It says that there's like 6 on order or something. I don't know. But it hasn't been in stock for like a month. And I'm like, girl, I can't wait that long. But I think it's on like Libby. So I can get it as an ebook, which I don't really want. Even though, if you get an ebook so you can read it on the go, that's really hard for me. Because if I'm on the go, it's usually I'm on the bus or something. And I get a little sickly on my phone. It's easier to read a physical book than read it on my phone because the font is smaller, so I have to focus more. Anyway, it's nice to just have a physical book. So I'm probably gonna pick a different book to read at work. This one might stay here. It's thick too, so I'm probably gonna read this series at home. So maybe I'll get through it a little bit quicker if I focus when I'm at home. So after all that, let's get into what I'm gonna read next on my wheel. Didn't you all miss my wheel? Isn't it beautiful? So I have read. Where's my fucking cursor? Oh, there it is. I have read now 4 books. I think 4 books. Yeah, off my wheel. I'm getting through it slowly but surely. So let's see. Oh, I'm scared. I'm gonna get a big book and I'm gonna be a loser. Okay, let's see. Let's go. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh my god. I'm nervous. I'm gonna get like the Count of Monte Cristo or something like that. What the fuck? The Postman Always Rings Twice. Oh, by James M. Cain. Gems. Is that what it said? James M. Cain. This is a fucking. He's like a classic. Well, 1934. He's a classic. Like, I don't want to say noir. But I think he's a mystery guy. Oh, exciting. I think that's a short one. Fuck yeah. Cool. I'll get that probably, at the library. What good fun. I was thinking maybe going there on Tuesday and just, taking a gander at the library. It's been a while since I've just looked around the library. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna read that when I get to it. When I can go to the library because it's closed tomorrow. But it'll be open on Tuesday. And I'll try to see if it's. Oh, I guess I should check if it's even fucking available at my library. It might have to be shipped. Sad face. Anyway, good to be back. Maybe I'll keep up my reading better. I need to read 26 books, so I have to really get fucking on that shit. Okay, it was fun chatting. I'll talk to you guys hopefully tomorrow. Okay, bye.